Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Motherload. I am Kayla, and I am here with Kia, who lives in the Bahamas. And we are going to be talking about all things the Motherload today. I'm so glad that you are here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, and we are going to get right into our conversation today.
All right. Hey everyone, my name is Kia and I'm so excited to be here. Kayla and I have connected over the last few months on all things art healing and art therapy. And so I'm really excited to get into the Motherload today and talk about creative wellness and how we can really use that to get rid of the meh that's in Motherload, right? So I'm super excited. Thank you so much for having me, Kayla.
Awesome. I'm so happy that you are here. So, our conversation today is going to be all about the mother load. What makes it heavy? What makes it light? What is our part? What are the boundaries or the things that we need to put up for other people? Whatever that looks like. So, what is the heaviest part of the mother load for you?
I think the heaviest part of the Motherload for me is the fact that it doesn't end. But not just like 9 to 5 doesn't end, not like midnight to like 8 p.m. doesn't end. I mean, it literally just doesn't end because once the kids are asleep, I'm still, packing for the next day, prepping, figuring out what's happening next weekend. All of a sudden I want to make homemade Halloween costumes. Don't know why. You know what I mean? It's like, why do we just do this kind of to ourselves? Like, it is society, but I swear to God, no one ever told me, hey, you should make homemade Halloween costumes. But ever since September the 1st, I've been like, hey, I have 2 months to knock out a Halloween costume. Should it be Star Wars this year? What should we do? Like, we do this to ourselves. We go like, hey, no one told me I had to make homemade cookies for the school, meeting, but I feel bad that I had to buy store-bought cookies. So it's like, it's that thing that we like put this pressure on ourselves to be these like icon, June Cleaver moms, and it's just not a reality. It was barely a reality then, but it definitely just isn't realistic anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, I resonate so hard with you about the Halloween costume thing. And I have a child who doesn't particularly love Halloween. Like he thinks he does, and then the day comes and he doesn't want to put it on, and like everybody's scary, and it's like this whole production, which is totally fine for him. But in the mom brain, it's like I have to make it epic, and we have to decorate, and we have to get candy, and we have to participate in all of these things that nobody told us we had to.
Exactly. But we like feel like such a failure if we don't do it though, right? We're like, oh my God, I only got to make like I don't know why, ever since I've had my son, because we didn't grow up really with Halloween. We don't celebrate like that in the Bahamas. But I guess one of the reasons, like since I was living in the States when he was born, it kind of like has become this tradition we have. The same thing with Thanksgiving now. Like I just do Thanksgiving. But like why? But like, so I go, oh, we have to make matching costumes. Like, why don't we get like all the neighborhood gang, and we can totally be like cool in the gang, or like we need to make this epic. Like we can go like a 5-car train, and we need to be a caboose. Like I could start making these things up. Like no one told me to do this. There is not a simple Google like YouTube video I can watch. But I'm like, now because there's no YouTube video, I have to create that YouTube video so that the next mom can create that costume next Halloween. So it's like I do these like obscene things. Like why would I decide who likes Halloween anyway? Like I mean I do, but it's like why? Just
Yeah,
why? These are
just
the unanswered
why?
motherhood questions.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. What are some of the other things that you find are created by you that are just like they hit you kind of like from left field, and you're halfway through the task and you're like, who told me I had to do this?
Right. One thing I definitely have seen that I've done like for the last couple of years, I keep on getting my son enrolled in extracurricular activities. I have told myself somehow that like at the age of 4, 5, and 6, like he needs this for his college applications. Like clearly, you know what I mean? Like I have to do this now. And so like every time someone comes to me, they're like, your son should be in baseball. I'm like, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? Oh my God, my son should be in soccer. You're right. This is not all of these activities overlap on Saturday morning, but somehow I'm gonna make this happen. In the middle of COVID, I'm gonna make all of these things happen. And it's just like, I don't know why. I don't know who told me that I need to worry at the age of 4 about what college my son's going to go to, but apparently it's a thing that I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't even
That
know what
sounds,
college is going to look like by the time he goes to school, but somehow I'm like, nope. I watched all those TV shows. I know what it's going to be like.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And how do you catch yourself like partway through one of those like stories that we tell ourselves and like navigate through what might feel more authentic?
Right. I navigate through it by, I normally just like stop it in the middle. I find like that makes the most sense to just shut it down and then just tell myself like, well, that's a lie. Like no one told you. Because first of all, even if everybody did it and it actually was like in the mother book of rules, that doesn't actually mean that you have to do it. Like you get to live this motherhood experience the way you want to. And I think I have to remember that when I'm like, oh, well, you know, my mom didn't do that. My aunts didn't do that. This is an entirely different world that we live in now. And so I don't have to follow any of the rules that any other mother has set because this is my journey. And so like my son and I always say like, he'll come to me and say like, I'm so happy that I chose you to be my mom. And so I'm like, well, if he thinks that, why would I then turn around and go, oh, well, no, I have to do this the way my aunt did it or, you know, someone on TV did. So I have to just tell myself like, I know what I'm doing. And I know what I'm doing. And so I also have to just honor rest a lot. I think a lot of times when I get into these spaces of being like, I need to do all these things, a lot of it does come from this space of like, I'm actually already overworked and I'm adding something else to my list. And so I kind of like to stop and evaluate what's going on and kind of go like, wait, do I need to add this? Chances are I don't. And then I just throw it away. Like I have a lot of
Mm.
things that I've thrown off lists lately. Like it's necessary.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. That is so, that self-awareness is so powerful. And that practice of like stopping the thought dead in the tracks is like, it takes a lot of practice, I think, to get to that place. And so tell me a little bit about your just your wellness routine or your wellness rituals and what that looks like and how you maintain it. You know, like not only how do you like create it, but how do you maintain that so that you can check in with yourself and know those body cues and be aware.
Right. So I recently realized that what I'm actually really all about is creative wellness. And I, for some reason, was not aware of this term until very recently. So I kept on like, and you might have even seen it where I'm like, yeah, I like do holistic wellness for mom creatives. And so I had all the aspects of the things that I really enjoyed, but I was having a hard time really like pinpointing it because I was like, oh, well, no,
Mm,
is it art healing or is it really that I like the outdoors? And so I had to really sit down. And so for you, it might be totally different. Like maybe it's not actually creative wellness. Maybe you really do like one linear type way, right? But for me, I realized I actually like having a bunch of different things that I can like kind of pick and choose. And so that works for me because not all the time am I going to be able to like go outside and go for a run depending on the weather or go to the beach or go you know, for quiet time in my own corner. So sometimes I do have to come up with these mediums, which might be including my son for art session, which is not always ideal, but at least it works. You know, like I get to have my space and I get to also teach him something along the way. So yeah, definitely creative wellness has been that thing for me. And I do that a lot with I have kind of like 4 pillars. I don't know if they're like the official, I don't know if creative wellness has like official pillars, but this is what I say. So my thing is exploring, playing, creating, and unlearning. And so as
mhm,
long as my activities kind of have something like that in it, it's kind of like a free for all. So it could be, you know, acro yoga. We could be doing projects with fabric scraps or whatever it is. But I just try to find things like we kind of like keep a lot of cardboard boxes around. So a lot of times it really is just like me playing with almost like sensory play. I do a lot of that, which I never really called it that when I did it with myself, but essentially that's what it is. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, cutting up cardboard. I'm playing with rice and making a little Morocco for myself that I then give to my son. Like sometimes my favorite parts of craft activities are the parts that I do by myself and I get them to like the handoff spot, and then I give them to my son. And I know he's probably gonna destroy it afterwards, but at least I got my 10 minutes to kind of like weave something or do whatever I was doing. And so it really is about embracing, especially as a mom, like embracing the fun moments with your kid. And so instead of saying like, oh, well, I didn't get to do my, sauna today or whatever, like, because moms go to saunas, I don't know. But, but like, learning that, hey, you can still have fun and create a wellness routine around your kid's schedule.
Mm. That is really amazing. I hear a lot of like integration in that, right? Like integration of what you need, but also that your son benefits from it. But it's really when you sit down, it's the intention to take a little moment for you, whether that's alone or together, because together seems to be happening a lot
Right.
lately.
It's going to happen regardless anyway.
Yeah.
So you might as well. And then obviously like waking up earlier. I find that I'm like a morning person. So if I try to go, well, I'll wait until my son goes to bed, that just ends
Mm.
up with me being like really crotchety at 9 p.m. Like I have learned that I can't say, like, I'm just going to like read a book. No, I'm going to be so exhausted. So either I do it with my son or I wake up in the morning and I'm like at 5:30 in the morning getting my quiet time.
Yeah, yeah, I really resonate that with that. My kids are early risers, and so it's like if I don't get up before them, then I'm with them or I'm working like until 9 o'clock at night. So like the thing that I really try to focus on is like where are my 10 minutes? Like if I didn't get them in the morning, then like where are my 10 minutes? Because I feel like right now that's realistic. Like 10 minutes is realistic.
Right.
Um, I'd love an hour. Like an hour would feel like a holiday, but like realistically, not to breed resentment and all those kinds of things about where life is at. Like where are those pockets of time? Where is that time where I'm not gonna like just like do the dishes or do the laundry, which absolutely still needs to be done for like sanity reasons, but
Mm-hmm.
not self-care reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I almost like looking for the 10 minutes and I try to make it like this weird game of where can I find the pocket today? Because the thing is, if I have an hour, I still wouldn't use the hour for myself
Right.
anyway. I still probably would like maybe use 20 minutes and then do like, for some reason, all the laundry that I have during my self-care time. So
Right.
to me, it actually is easier to find the small pockets than to like make believe that this one magic hour is going to happen, because it's never going to happen. Like
Mm.
it hasn't happened since 2014. I don't think it's going to happen now, right?
Oh man. And so how do you like what is your process in terms of like keeping that real? Like the real expectations, healthy levels of striving, um, like not setting yourself up for failure when you do want to work at 9 o'clock at night, when you know that that's not your best time to be doing some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. So I have to tell myself that I'm my best when I'm rested. And I think that's something that moms just really need to get. Like we need to drill it into our heads however we need to. But we keep on doing this thing where we're the modern moms and we're like, hey, I can just add more to my plate, I can do more, I can, I'll help put up all the Christmas decorations for the school. Like all these things we keep on volunteering ourselves for when we don't even have that time for our self-care, but then we keep on loaning ourselves out to anyone that needs help. And so I really have to remind myself, hey, when I get to rest, I'm better for me, for everyone, right? I'm not going to be so grumpy. I'm not going to be so snarky with my kid. I'm not going to do 10 things at once and burn dinner once again and then be mad at myself about that. So it really is about realizing like, hey, if my son was being cranky and he's rubbing his eyes and doing the clear signs of being tired, I would tell him, hey, take a nap.
Mhm.
I would tell anyone, like of a friend, of anyone, like, hey, you look really, I don't want to tell you look run down, but you're looking like you could use a rest. I would tell someone else to honor that within themselves. But when it
Yeah.
comes to moms, we don't do that. And so I really have to tell myself, hey, when you rest, and we've talked about this before, right? About, when we're all run down and not firing on all cylinders. We've talked about this in the Wellness Summit chats when it's really just like, hey, when you rest, you're better. You can take on the world. You can do all the super mom things that you want to do, but stop putting yourself last. Don't put yourself on the back burner, and stop running on empty. You need to refuel yourself.
Yes, so much that. One of you just triggered one of the questions that I get asked all the time is like, how do you actually do that? You know what I mean? Like it's like, so you've got whatever your household status is like right now, whether you have 8 kids or one, or your preconception, how does facilitating your own rest actually happen?
I think it's actually just, once again, going back to putting your foot down, because you have to realize that this is something that we're putting on ourselves. Like, I really,
Mm.
really promise you that if you just sat, if you're washing dishes right now while you're listening to this, right, and you sat down on the couch for the next 10 minutes, I mean, yeah, a kid might stop you, but there's not gonna be like, you know, someone's not gonna open up the roof of your house like some giant, like, what are you doing there? How dare you? You're literally the only one making yourself feel this way. And so I even remind myself, like, if you think back to, like, once again, like the kind of like the old, like, Leave It to Beaver style things, like, you know, I don't want to say like anything about anyone's partners or whatever, but it's been ingrained in us that the moms are cooking and cleaning, da 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 da, and when the hubbies come home, they read their sports pages, they kick up their feet, and, like, you know, someone's probably gonna bring them a shot of whiskey or whatever happens in these shows. But, like, we've been ingrained to believe, like, hey, women just work, 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 and then once, you know, the significant other does their 9 to 5, for some reason they get to just kick their feet up. So it's like, it's really something that we've been ingrained to believe, and it's just not true. So I just go like, hey, wow, look, I'm sitting on the couch. Ooh, still here. Like, literally, the world didn't end. You know,
Yep.
nothing happened. It was okay. And so I think we just need to give ourselves that permission to go, hey, I can take that 10 minute. You know, I can take the 10 minutes. I can take the 20 minutes to listen to a podcast because it's going to fill me up. And when I'm filled up,
Mm.
I can just be in the world and really just have my place in the world, have my identity in it, and be a mother in addition. Not just be a mom who's a person that's running on E. You know what I mean? It should be that we're person first and then mom, not like this mom slave gremlin thing and then nothing else.
Oh my gosh. Yes, so much that. I'm like feeling like your words are entering my body and I'm just like all of that, all of that and then some, right? Like because who who told us we couldn't do that? Who
Mm-hmm.
told us that we shouldn't sit on the couch? Who told us that we can't watch Netflix at 8 o'clock at night? Like the day is over.
Mm-hmm.
The day is over. You have lived, for some people, depending what time your children get up, 14 hours
Mm-hmm.
of on. Like, and it's giving ourselves permission. Like all that I'm hearing, like all of the theme of that is just like just dropping into that sensation of like, I am allowed. I am giving myself permission to rest, take care of myself, be creative, be fun. But I can't do any of that if I am this like gremlin person who's like crotchety and grumpy and quick to irritate, um, quick to react. Like I think every once in a while I take note and I just sit back and I'm like, okay, what are the phrases that I have been saying to my partner or my child lately? And then I think, are those the things that I also tell myself? Like, is that the narrative that is like running through my mind? Like, hurry up, let's get going. We need to do this. We need to do this. I don't feel supported, and like all these things. And it's like, well, I'm not supporting myself, so of course I don't feel supported by other people
Mm-hmm.
because like how can I feel support when I'm not giving that to myself first? And I'm like, I'm last. I'm like over here on the back burner, and then it's like
Mm-hmm.
epiphany. Like, no, we don't have to rush. Yeah, there are certain things we need to be on time for, but do we need to rush about? Do we need to be so productive that we run ourselves right into the ground?
Right. I feel like one of the things that I find myself saying all the time is like, we don't have time. That's like always my answer for it. We don't have time. We can't go on this errand. We don't have time. I don't have time. That's like something that that's one of the things that I am constantly telling myself. And then I go like, wait, but if someone came to me right now, like, hey, this thing's on fire, you have to do this, I would make the time. And so it's one of those things that I am constantly making the time for everyone else's deadlines, but I'm not enforcing that. And, you know, it's like, it's about building those boundaries. Like, I haven't built a boundary where I'm like, no, I do have the time to sit and do this. I do have the time to, you know, write this novel. I'm not writing a novel, guys, but like, you know, I do have the time if I wanted to write a novel. I do have the time to learn a new craft. I do have the time to go for that jog if I know, like, hey, I've been like saying like, hey, quarantine 15, make the time to go for the jog. You know, I mean, it really is about building up those, creating the boundaries and just enforcing them. And I know a lot of people go like, oh, well, how do you do that? It's just like, just do it the first
You
time.
just do it.
Just do it the
Yeah.
one time and say, hey, if it doesn't work, then try it again. But like, you just have to build that muscle.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Just like stretching that muscle. And I find that I talk about that a lot with creativity, just that like as adults, sometimes we shut down that part of ourselves for a number of years, especially in those early days of parenting and you're sleepless and like there's a lot going on, and so just like stretching that creative muscle of like, no, it's probably going to be uncomfortable the first time because the first time that you go for a jog after 4 years is probably also uncomfortable, and so it's the same kind of metaphor in terms of stretching ourselves into the areas that we are not all that well versed in, you know, if we haven't been taking care of ourselves for a long time. So tell me some of the work that you do with women, and if people are feeling like they're resonating with this conversation, how they can find you and listen to all of your wisdom.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so my big dream that I want y'all all to help come true is that I really want to have mom retreats here in the Bahamas. COVID got me this year, but I swear 2021, I would love to have retreats for moms in the Bahamas. I have women's only retreats, but my big picture goal is to have Mama Camp, which is a retreat where moms get to come and bring their kids to the Bahamas, and we'll have our mom moments while the kids are getting totally taken care of, and then we can come back together and have our day at the beach and, you know, our bonfires and all the good stuff. But moms get to have that adult time that we are craving without the guilt of leaving our kids home and what are my kids eating, because they're going to be here with you. Until that happens, I do have workshops that I do online. I actually just came out with a Map activity book, which is now available on Amazon. So I am just sneaking my way into the hearts and minds of all moms everywhere. But you can definitely find me on IG at Momma Healer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to tag all of your stuff in the show notes so that people can find you. And I am wishing you well in all of your wellness and your mothering. And I hope we get to chat soon. And for those of you who are watching and or listening from home, please give Kia a follow. She is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Okay,
I'm excited. Thank you so much.